Hello everyone and welcome back to Jenna Voice. Today's video I wanted to talk all about the Met competition. And for those of you who don't really know what the Met competition is, it's also referred to as the Metropolitan National Council auditions. It is arguably the biggest competition in the country, if not the world, for the opera world. So it's really well known, and it might have the most people compete in it every year compared to any other opera audition, at least that I know of, because it begins statewide. So each state in the US holds a preliminary audition. I think about 30 people are allowed to sign up, and anyone can sign up. That's another interesting part of this competition. The only real restriction is age. You need to be between the age of 20 and 30 in order to legally compete in this competition. But other than that, anyone can sign up. There's not really a application process. You just need to be one of the first, or within the first 30 people to sign up for your state in order to compete. And after statewide, it moves to district. And then I think there's one more round before you go to New York, but there might not be. There's at least district, and then the New York round, and then they choose about 10 people as the winners of this really big competition. And they just had the Utah round this past Saturday, which is why I wanted to make a video about it. So I have never personally competed in this competition, and people ask me every year, why didn't you sing? When are you going to do it? Frankly, I have, number one, never felt ready, and number two, I'm constantly updating and refining my audition package. When you do this competition, you need to bring 5 arias with you, and for this competition, I feel like you should pretty much have an aria from each of the 3 main languages, that being, 4 main languages, that being English, Italian, German, and French. And you may want to bring a Mozart, you may want to have a more modern piece, a bel canto aria, depending on your FOC. But the point is to show how well-rounded you are as a singer, and your abilities and your agility and the best qualities that you have as a singer at that point when you are competing. And I just personally haven't felt like my package is ready and that I'm ready as a singer. I have watched this competition at least 3 or 4 years now. The great thing about it is that it is open to the public. Anybody can go and watch, which is, I think, a really invaluable tool for young singers. So if you're near a location for one of these rounds of the Metropolitan Council auditions, I highly recommend going to it. You can spend an entire Saturday there. The one in Utah, at least this year, it ran from about 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a 1-hour lunch break. And oftentimes locations will provide some refreshments either during the lunch break or after the competition while the judges are deliberating. So yeah, I think it's a really fun time. You learn a lot. I think it's always interesting to see who is competing and kind of gauge what their level is as a singer, as well as kind of with their age. You see quite a variety because you have this 10-year window of singers who come to sing, and any FOC can compete. So you have anything from bass baritone to high coloratura soprano and everything in between. And I always like to see kind of if I can guess what the judges will choose versus what my top choices are for singers, and kind of make my own notes as a singer. If I'm noticing like little performance tics for that performer, I'm like, ooh, I see a lot of tension in their shoulders, or they seem to be holding their hands in kind of an awkward position. Like things like that I find really interesting to watch and notice. The more you perform and observe other singers, the more you're going to notice these sorts of things. And I think as a growing singer, it's important to be able to notice them. Make notes for yourself when you are working on your performance skills. If you ever teach or want to teach, I think it's a really valuable skill to be able to watch other singers and make notes on their technique, their body language, their acting, their diction skills. There are so many things that are valuable to study as a young singer by just observing other singers. And of course, you can just keep these notes for yourself. These aren't things you need to share with other people, but I think it's valuable to learn how to observe. So if anything, check out the competition for that. I think it's worth it. I will say that I hope to do this competition at some point. Maybe next year will be the year that I feel ready. But who knows? I have some issues with this competition. I know in recent years, it's been interesting to see the ages of their winners that the judges choose. There's kind of this trend of choosing younger and younger singers as their winners, and I think that is a really dangerous trend to set, because frankly, every single singer is different. We all have our own challenges and technique issues that we're working through. We all develop at different ages. You know, it's not like 25 and you've got it all figured out, or I don't know. It's just a lot of unrealistic standards that have been set. And with that, I will say, I don't think 20 and 21-year-olds are frankly ready for international opera careers. They may have this amazing gift of a voice and sound incredible on stage with the full orchestra, and that is not to be disregarded. I think that's incredible that some singers are at that level at a younger age, but to say that they are the best of the entire country, I just don't agree with it, frankly. Emotionally, I don't think anyone is ready for that kind of publicity or attention as a young singer. It leads to a lot more likelihood of burning out at an earlier age. If you're working way too much at a younger age, you're likely to burn out because you're still developing. There's just a lot more work that needs to be done. I think there's so much to be gained from getting an undergraduate degree at the very least, getting an upper level degree like a master's degree or an artist's diploma. You learn so much by going to school and through experience of time, and I think getting a well-rounded education as a young singer is important. Like, when else are you going to learn about opera history and refine your diction skills and little performance techniques that you can learn in a safe space, and you aren't expected to have it all figured out because you're professionally hired and you're being paid to sing on a large stage. There's just so much time for that to happen, and I think it's necessary to take that time. And honestly, the majority of successful singers didn't, quote, make it until their early mid-30s. Like, it takes that much time to develop as a professional, as a singer, as an artist, and I think we need to give ourselves that time. There are people I know who weigh so much of their career and worth as a singer on these sorts of competitions, on this specific competition, and that is just not reality. It is one competition. It is so subjective because they bring in different judges for every state, every district, every single year. It is different. So every single person who is listening to you is going to have a different opinion on what the best singers sound like. And if anything, one of the greatest parts of this competition is that you get feedback after the competition is over from all the judges. They take notes and they will give you their honest opinion based on what they heard from you that day. So I know some people who frankly just do the competition for the feedback, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing the Met competition just for feedback, but I would say it's absolutely an added bonus. If you feel ready to do this competition and you do it and you aren't chosen to go through to the next round or get any other little awards that they offer, still get that feedback. That is invaluable. I think it's absolutely worth it to hear others' opinions of your singing. You're gonna get feedback throughout your life that isn't necessarily constructive or even helpful to you, but I think it's still worth listening because you will get feedback that is important and helpful for you the next time that you audition or do another competition, whatever it is. Take advantage of feedback whenever it's offered. So anyway, this was kind of just a rant video about the Met competition, but I felt it was important to make this video. It's a really, really big competition, so I have opinions about it after watching it for several years, and I'll let you all know if I decide to do it next year. But for now, I'm just focusing on trying to do other auditions and working on improving my technique and audition package. If any of you have done the competition and want to share your experience down below, I'd love to hear about it. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, subscribe if you want to keep up with more videos like this, tips and tricks for singers, review videos, and so much more. And I will talk to you all very, very soon. Bye.